Well, hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Dray. I'm a board certified dermatologist, and get excited because you all have been asking, and it is that time. We are going to be reviewing in this video the Rice Lipids plus Ectoin Microemulsion from the Ordinary. This positions itself as a lightweight, soothing, barrier supporting moisturizer. It's especially being marketed toward people with dry, sensitive skin that is prone to redness, people who want a dewy, fresh look to their face. We're going to talk about the key ingredients, the product claims, how it performs on my skin, and how it compares to other Ectoin products on the market. What the heck is a microemulsion? A microemulsion is a system where oil and water are stabilized together into tiny little droplets. This is why the product looks milky and feels very lightweight, but it still leaves the skin feeling moisturized. It's not just a damp, liquid-based toner, essence, or serum. This is also why shaking the bottle before application is recommended. If you don't shake it beforehand, you may not get an even distribution of those ingredients. What the heck does this claim to do? One thing I love about the Ordinary is they're pretty reserved in the product claims that they make. They never make borderline drug claims. They're really conscientious about not overstepping the boundaries of what a cosmetic can reasonably say it can do. They don't toe the line with drug claims. Claims to deliver 24-hour soothing hydration, reduce visible skin redness, make the skin look more radiant and dewy, repair the skin barrier, all after first use. That's a pretty big claim. What exactly is going on in this formula, and does it support the claims? First up, rice lipids. This is a lipid extract derived from whole rice. The main function, to reduce transepidermal water loss. Lipids are essential for skin barrier function. They help seal in moisture and protect the skin from environmental aggressors. And rice-derived lipids are generally well tolerated and suitable for sensitive skin. They don't actively hydrate the skin like a humectant would, but rather help to keep water in the skin, which is just as important. Then we have the ingredient everybody is interested in, including myself, 2% ectoin. What the heck is ectoin? It's an amino acid derivative, and it's produced by microorganisms to survive extreme conditions like heat, ultraviolet radiation, salinity. But in skincare, ectoin is kind of interesting because yes, it does help bind water, so it hydrates the skin. It's also very soothing, and it's an antioxidant, so it may help your skin to defend against environmental aggressors, which ultimately do compromise barrier integrity. So it's particularly suitable or attractive for people who have very sensitive, redness-prone skin, or skin where the barrier is impaired, but also good just for general moisturizing purposes. We don't have good established percentage strengths of ectoin for yielding optimal benefit. 2% sounds pretty good. My all-time favorite ectoin product is the Paula's Choice Ectoin Serum, which contains a whopping 7%. Now, to what extent the 2 versus the 7 is a huge difference, you know, on paper it sounds kind of big, but maybe in reality it's not really that big of a deal. I will say the Paula's Choice product is significantly richer and much more emollient, much more occlusive in comparison to the one from the Ordinary. This one from the Ordinary is clearly a lot lighter. The Ordinary serum contains natural moisturizing factors, a variety of amino acids, and urea naturally found in skin's outermost layer to help retain water, vital for epidermal turnover to ensue at a reasonable rate. One thing that can happen with age is that can slow down and you get, well, rough skin texture. So by using hydrating natural moisturizing factors, you can kind of help keep things on the right track. Urea is an excellent ingredient in general for dry skin, typically well tolerated, and it can improve barrier function and skin texture. Urea isn't even an ingredient that they actively call out in their promotional materials, but it is on the ingredient list. At low concentrations, it's purely hydrating, but at high concentrations, it does exfoliate. We don't know anything about what the concentration is in this. I expect it to be on the lower end, mostly acting as a humectant. Then there is jojoba oil, which is an oil, an emollient, typically very well tolerated. Emollients act in products to soften the skin. They don't help with water retention, and they don't seal moisture in that well. But moisturizing products typically will contain emollients to impart that skin softening effect. This formula is free of fragrance, and for those of you who are sensitive to niacinamide, don't you worry your pretty little heads because there's no niacinamide in this. How does it actually feel though? I kind of hinted at this a bit already. Very lightweight, but a little bit something more, a little touch more emollient compared to just putting a watery serum, a watery toner, or watery essence. You know those products that call themselves toners or essences that when you put them in your palm, they are frank liquids. Like if you blindfolded yourself, you would just think you were putting water in your palm. This you definitely feel is not not just water. Like there is a little bit of something clinging to the skin, slow to move over the surface, but it is still very, very thin. It absorbs really well into the skin. It layers nicely. It's something I've used under sunscreen in the morning routine. Also can be used under makeup, and you can use it morning and evening. Now, when you might want to use this in your routine, I would suggest the general approach of ordering your skincare products from thinnest to thickest, and this is a little bit on the thicker side in comparison to, like I said, many watery essences and toners. So you could either apply it first, but if you're using products like that, you'd want to apply those first and then this. But if you want to use a richer cream on over it for really locking everything in place, you certainly could, but you might just find that this alone is kind of all you need because it does help with reducing water loss. It just doesn't quite feel as rich as a moisturizer. It's pretty thin. I didn't get any pilling or skin irritation with this whatsoever. Now, as far as redness reduction goes, this makes sense mechanistically, okay? Ectoin's anti-inflammatory, urea natural moisturizing factors support the skin barrier, and then lipids are going to reinforce that barrier. You might expect to see a subtle softening in redness, especially if that redness is related to dry skin. But if you have redness related to rosacea, where there's an underlying vascular component, you have prominent dilated telangiectasias, this will not correct that. But it's good for rosacea because rosacea, you also have an impaired barrier, water loss, and that may be a big contributing factor actually to flare-ups. As far as barrier repair, that's not something that happens instantly, but supporting your skin barrier can help it go a lot faster. This product will help to reduce water loss, improve skin hydration, not only providing humectants, but emollients to soften the skin as well. So your skin can both look and feel healthier, quote unquote, very quickly, which is likely what the brand is referring to. Now, a note about the application. This brand recommends, of course, that you shake this up before applying. You just need a few drops, and it's something you can use morning and or evening. They actually suggest layering it after the Saccharomyces ferment 30% milky toner for a claimed 62% boost in moisture with that layering mambo combo. As a side note, I have reviewed that Saccharomyces milky toner before, so if you're curious about that product, I will put the video link in the description box and in a pinned comment. Personally, I much prefer this new Ectoin serum to that. It does a lot more for me. Like I think I said in that video, I see no reason to ever go back to that Saccharomyces thing. It was a more of a try, use for the sake of reviewing it because people are curious, but I don't really like this that much. This product, on the other hand, it's actually been a great little moisturizer. But I mentioned the Paula's Choice Ectoin serum earlier, and y'all know I love that. I have repurchased it, but it is so expensive. So when the pedal meets the metal, so to speak, how do they really compare? Well, first of all, for whatever it's worth, 7% Ectoin in Paula's Choice versus 2% in the Ordinary. So you're obviously getting a little something extra. Like I said, we don't really know if that is a meaningful extra, right? It's definitely richer. It's definitely more emollient. It definitely gives a more noticeable glow, like a real wow factor. It's heavier, and of course, the price is difficult to stomach. I can't believe I actually repurchased it. The Ordinary's version is lighter, more affordable, and I think it's a great budget-friendly option for introducing Ectoin. Now, this is a milky, silky kind of a product. So say you're like whatever about Ectoin, okay, but you like these kind of milky, silky type products. The Haru Haru Wonder Black Rice Milky Toner Essence, it's got a mouthful of a name. That one is great, and the Cellamax Milky Toner. Both of those are a nice, rich texture, milky, silky, hydrating, give you a wow factor. Not super expensive, kind of middle of the road. No Ectoin. I mean, if you're sold on trying Ectoin, you know, those wouldn't be it. What are we talking about price point wise here? Because that's something we're all looking out for. $13. In 2026, $13 I think is pretty reasonable. You're getting a novel ingredient, Ectoin, no niacinamide for those of you who are sensitive. It's thoughtfully formulated, it's fragrance free. It actually moisturizes the skin pretty well, and is excellent for layering for those of you who, you know, like to do a whole flooding routine or whatever. You know, I've cautioned about more products, more problems, but if you're using a bunch of different other serums and you're fine stacking, this would be a reasonable one to stack on in there. That price point, it's accessible for people who want to dip their toes into the Ectoin waters, but not, you know, break the bank. Final thoughts overall, I thought this was actually one of the better products from the Ordinary over the past few years because, y'all, I mean, I reviewed the Volufill serum, which I still get questions. What are your thoughts on the Ordinary's Volufill? I've reviewed it here. I've reviewed it here in the shorts. I've got a couple of videos on Volufill, okay? So the thoughts have been thought out and laid out in videos. videos. But that, oh geez, the Saccharomyces thing, geez. The last sunscreen they came out with, oh my goodness, what a disaster that was. This is actually like reassuring that the brand is not just completely out to lunch these days. So I actually really enjoyed it. It's a solid budget-friendly option for people who are curious about Ectoin. Maybe you have sensitive skin, you're looking for a little lightweight hydration, soothing, and you, like me, prefer fragrance-free stuff for your face. You don't get along with niacinamide. Well, this is an option for you, which I think, you know, Ectoin, for those of you who have redness, I think it's an ingredient you might want to lean into. It's definitely worth checking out. Is it a holy grail for me? No, but I will gladly use it up. Will I repurchase this over Paula's Choice? Probably not, although that Paula's Choice price point is, it's disgusting. It's frankly absurd. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know. It's gotten complicated, me and Paula's Choice, because like The Ordinary, I have been so unhappy with the last several rounds of Paula's Choice new products over the past few years. So this Ectoin serum was like something that drew me back to Paula's Choice, because I have not had a good Paula's Choice new release in years, because it just seems like they redo the same version of what they already have. Same thing with The Ordinary. They have been letting me down. Just the releases they've been coming out with have been like, well, what even is this for? Like, just stop. This one was pretty good. Let me know in the comments though, if you have tried this, what you thought of it. It's available from Sephora. All right, y'all, let me know in the comments what you think of this, if it's something that you were interested in. I would assume you are, otherwise why would you watch this? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.